This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, welcome everyone to the March 20th, 2024 Board of Public Works meeting. I'm going to make a motion to open this evening's meeting.
Second.
All right. Roll call is Thomas Malsbury,
Yes.
Steve Litwin,
Yes.
Leah Strode,
Leah.
Strode.
Yes.
All right, first item on the agenda is public speak. And we welcome anyone to address the board for anything that's not on the agenda. We will move on. Second standing item is mayor speak. Do you have anything you wish to address the board with other than what's on the agenda?
When is the next meeting?
It would be the third.
Yep,
I believe.
first Wednesday in April.
First Wednesday in April.
Okay.
Save something for them?
No, I actually want to mention it
Sure.
quickly. I congressionally directed spending requests. The portal is open, and I just got an update from Senator Warren's office that I was infiltration and
Yep, infiltration and
is a priority this year.
That's good.
So yes, so I'm getting a little more info. I thought maybe there would be a meeting, but we have to submit the 5th. So I just wanted to bring it forward.
Okay. Do we have any shovel-ready plans that
We've got a lot of work going on that I'm waiting for complete reports back on from recent video work we did in the catchment area for the Mount Tom pump station and for the Ballard Street pump stations. We're having major I&I issues there.
That's what
We found a pipe that looks like it's coming from the area of 91,
Okay.
8-inch running with a lot of clean water in it.
Mhm.
I just don't have, it was like last week and we don't have the actual report from the camera company. We haven't been able to go out and really dig into it yet.
Okay.
Plus my sewer department foreman broke his ankle and is out for 6 to 8 weeks, so that's not helping. But we will continue,
Yeah.
that won't keep us from moving
Nope.
forward, it just slows us down a little bit.
All right. All right. Item number 3 on the main agenda is, now that we are a full board again, we're required to select a chairperson for the remainder of the term per Mass General Law, Part 1, Title 7, Chapter 41, Section 69. So I want to just put that forward for discussion. I've happily served as chair since 2019, but if anybody else would like to put in a nomination, I'm more than happy to discuss it and we'll put it to.
Motion that we continue with Tom as our chairperson.
I second.
That's generally how it goes. Hot potato. All right. I guess we'll do a roll call on that.
Okay. Thomas Malsbury,
Yes.
Steve Litwin,
Yes.
Leah Strode.
Yes.
All right. It's official.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Item number 4 on the agenda is approval of the March 6, 2024 meeting minutes. This was a meeting that Steve and I attended, so Michelle prepared the minutes for that for us to review. Any issues with as they were prepared?
No, I do not.
Me either. I'll make a motion to approve the March 6, 2024 meeting minutes as prepared. Well,
Second.
yep, and you don't vote for this because we're the only
Okay,
ones who can
that's true.
authorize it. So, roll call for Steve and I.
All right. Thomas Malsbury,
Yes.
Steve Litwin.
Yes.
All right. Motion carries.
Item number 5. Item number 5 is we're going to continue our discussion of the DPW fee schedule updates that we're presenting in the public hearing after this. I just wanted to keep this on the agenda to discuss with you if you had any questions or if any public questions before the public hearing. I just wanted to keep it on the agenda for topic. So, were you able to review or anything that Michelle sent out? Any
Yeah, I did.
questions?
No questions though.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that was thorough. Any questions from the public before the hearing? Anything you'd like addressed in the hearing? If not, we will move on to the next item. Mayor, any? No? All right. Next item is also a continuation of that. In the last meeting, we discussed brush dump and Oliver Street recycling fees and sticker fees. Again, this was just something we're going to be discussing this evening in the public hearing following this, but kind of keep it on the agenda for discussion. So this was, that's the page Greg had prepared a request to the board to also include a review of those fees in the public hearing. So just sort of a update and modernization of the fees and increase of the sticker fee to recoup overtime costs incurred in operating the dump. So. Actually, Greg, you weren't here at the last meeting, so do you have anything else to add to that beyond what you put in the memo?
No, I mean, it's just important for people to know we're not trying to recoup all of the costs of operating the brush dump by the sticker fee. The city still does have some, is subsidizing that, with the general fund, but we just need to offset what it's costing a little bit, because it's costing, everything's costing more and more.
So it will be open on Saturdays from now?
Yeah,
until
we're gonna be open every Saturday now, right? The only thing I said, I cannot promise the Saturday Memorial Day weekend, but we should be open every Saturday through May. I just gotta make sure we have guys to staff it, but we usually somebody will be able to.
Any other input on that topic before
No.
we move it to hearing? All right. Next item on the agenda, Greg added Main Street Design Tactical Urbanism Event Discussion.
Yep. So what I wanted to do is just update the board on and make sure, I mean, if this has been in discussion, we had a couple of public outreach sessions with different stakeholders on Main Street. And this is basically a good summary of the trial run that our consultants have recommended based on input from people that attended the public outreach sessions and what they said they wanted to see on Main Street. So what we've got with that, just kind of go through the packet. I'm sorry, I don't have any more copies, but I'll try to. So basically the section of Main Street between Campus Lane and Union Street will be the kind of trial area for the, they call it the event of tactical urbanism. So where we basically try out some of the upgrades that people have said they'd like to see on Main Street. One of my concerns is it's gonna have a significant impact on the availability of parking in that section of Main Street. We are having some signs made to direct people to park down Campus Lane and kind of utilize some of the on-street parking there. But we do see in this trial run, we see a reduction from about 25 parking spaces to closer to 10. So, I spend a lot of time in town, right? Driving through Main Street. The utilization in the evenings and weekends on Main Street is pretty significant. So it's going to represent a significant reduction in the available parking on Main Street while we try this out. Now that being said, we can try it out, and if we immediately get told it's no good, we have to take it out, we can take it out. It's just paint. It's nothing more really than paint and trying a different streetscape for the Main Street area. So.
Is that really a bad thing though? Because sometimes I find that the street is tight when you got traffic going both ways, with with vehicles parked on both sides of it.
And the parallel, yeah, sure.
Especially when you got trucks or something coming in. My daughter parked right where the convenience store was in the corner, and she worked at the school, and she came back and she found her side view mirror gone.
On Main Street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the pulling angle
maybe
parking-
that will reduce some of that.
It sure could. It's definitely gonna, what I know it's gonna do is reduce where you can park on Main Street, and but that's why we're doing it as a trial. Do I have some concerns about that? Yeah, I think the impact of that will be more significant than we think, but that's why I wanted to talk to the board about it tonight. And it's not something we're not paying attention to, the reduction in parking. It's just, we didn't do the public outreach sessions in here. We want more parking, we need more areas to park. We heard we want a shared use path and safer pedestrian facilities. I think that's one thing everyone knows we need. That crossing at Campus Lane and Main Street is far too wide. at a minimum from this project, if we can get that bumped out and possibly raised, I think that would be a huge step in the right direction for making Main Street a safer place. What I do worry about is, like, you think of Young World, the childcare center that's there, and the people that need to drop their children off. You know, if we significantly reduce the amount of parking between Campus Lane and Union Street, and Silver Spoon has a busy morning, all those parking spots may not be available for people to bring their children, and now we're directing them to park on Campus Lane and cross the crossing that we know needs to be updated. So, I mean, nothing's perfect, it's a trial, but I'm just trying to think through some of those things that, you know, are probably gonna come up. So,
Do you, have you thought at all about how this is gonna impact the bus stop in that area? There's a bus stop right in front of City Space.
sure, I mean, the bus stop is, I mean, it'll still be accessible and there, but
Yeah, it's right behind the crosswalk, right?
yeah, right kind of in the area there. But
It's right on
we'll
the-
certainly see the impact of it. I mean, that's another thing, actually, that came up today when I talked to one of the consultants about it, when people weren't calling for, you know, more accessibility for buses. So we're basically, this plan was created out of what, the feedback we got from the public listening session, so, and we try it and see how it goes.
And is the paint going to cover the existing parking striping?
Yes.
Okay.
So when we're done, we'll black it back out.
Uh-huh.
Depending on, I mean, hey, if it's perfect and everybody thinks it's great, you know, maybe we can leave parts of it in the meantime. But if not, we'll black it back out and put the streetscape back to its current layout until we have a plan and construction project, hopefully in 2028, to kind of redo the whole corridor there. So
And have the vendors in that strip kind of been engaged, like they know what's going in?
to an extent, they have.
Okay.
One of the things we're going to work on between now and when we actually roll it out is making sure that engagement piece has been robust enough to, just, you know, so that we're comfortable with the amount of engagement we've had with the business owners.
What's the timeline for the implementation of this test?
So weather permitting,
It's a this year project?
we will start painting the week of April 8th
Oh, okay.
night with the hope of having the whole trial area in place by the 11th for Art Walk night.
Okay.
But we need some things to go right that first week of April. We need it to not rain and we need it to be warm enough at night. So,
Yeah, that clears up why this is just like a little, my main concern was, you know, I'm very interested in more bike lanes and shared use lanes around the city to interconnect the rail trails we have in other areas. And I was concerned that this was like a little orphan section.
Yep.
You know, is there, in the Union Street design, is there any bike laning?
there is bike lane. Yeah,
And
it's not
are we-
separated or anything, but it will be painted.
And it'll direct into this new structure? And then what's the planned outflow from this into the regular streetscape of the rest of Maine?
Basically,
just don't want
it
somebody
basically
to-
goes back, I mean, we're not really,
Yeah.
we're going to one lane. I mean, it is one lane now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a whole lot of change coming, if you're coming north
Right.
on Main Street. You kind of just end up at the roundabout, you
Yeah,
know, back to the normal flow of traffic.
yeah, I just, you know, if there's no designed exit or, you know, people say it's underutilized, but that's part of it, if it's sort of an island out there, but.
That little the bike, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard because there will certainly be no construction will happen on the top end of Union Street. I mean,
Now and then.
So this rendering right here, kind of shows that there will be raised sections to kind of delineate.
Yeah, those are wave delineators that we're borrowing from the city of Chicopee from a trial run they did.
Okay.
And this rendering here, so is this gonna eliminate all the parking spaces?
Well, not all of them, there'll be some parallel spots there, Steve, so
Okay.
there's gonna be, looks like
Yeah, the third sheet in,
one,
fourth
two,
sheet in.
3, 4, 5, 6. And in talking to them today and having raised some concerns about the amount of parking being removed, he did tell me he squeezed a couple more spots in, so the plan might have some variation from what we've got in front of us now.
Mayor?
Yeah.
Can I just add a quick
Sure.
update, the Chamber of Commerce Director, Mo, and I were meeting about something else, and she's happy to host and do some canvass, to remind the businesses. Also, Silver Spoon is about to get their outdoor dining permit approved, which will mean more parking spaces gone.
They normally get 2, or would probably be the equivalent of 2.
Yeah, Dan, our city engineer, has spoken to them about their
Okay.
outdoor dining layout being a little bit different this year.
Okay, great.
And with the lane being pushed out, so at least for the start of it.
Yep.
The start of their outdoor dining, we'll kind of play along, if you will, with our tactical urbanism of it, so.
Not that I don't know if this is gonna help or not, but one thing I've noticed as of late, people taking U-turns before the rotary. They're driving, they see a space,
Fully agree.
and next thing you know,
Yeah.
and they've done that in front of me coming the other
Yeah.
way. So I don't know if that would help.
Well, you can kind of see on, I don't know if it was the 4th page, the island that we're gonna paint that in. I think in the final construction that will be raised. I mean, that's one thing I don't think we, get ahead of myself, but we could maybe even do that in the meantime to help prevent that. A raised island there would certainly help to curtail people doing that.
Would there be any room for like flexible ballards or anything at the points of it, or?
Yeah, probably.
Just
Certainly be
to-
worked in. So we'll be using some of our delineators that we have from the temporary bike lane we tried on
Yeah,
Willis
because
Town,
I
so we
was
still have
thinking
those,
we still have those.
yeah, a lot of those will be out for this to try to help. We don't wanna make it look like a complete orange cone sea and construction site, but
Right.
we'll have them out to help delineate the areas that we're changing.
Okay.
So that's basically it. I just wanted to talk to the board about the plan and kind of what we're working on so that it doesn't, I wanna make sure you have the information.
No, thank you, because the last time the bike lane on over here went in.
Yep.
no, We found out about it after the fact, so thank you for at least keeping us in the loop.
Good job with the handout.
I just printed it, I didn't make it.
I was gonna say, wow, that's big, Greg.
Yeah. We got too much free time.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
All right, any further discussion from the board for Greg, or any public input on?
I have a question.
Yes.
Will there be a public hearing after the trial so that people can give feedback on it?
There'll be outreach sessions, yes,
Okay,
but I would, not necessarily a hearing.
well, just
An
something where people
information
can
session.
come in and give feedback.
Will that be
Yes.
through the same, was it handled through planning? Who
Yeah,
did it?
planning and Bowman. And we-
Because a lot of people weren't able to attend those
I know,
listening sessions
that's one of my
because-
concerns with the losing all the parking. It's not everyone can get to those meetings, and I feel like a lot of people use those parking spots, so that's why I wanna make sure we're having that conversation and getting out there,
Last week I took 2 trips through the Rotary till I found the spot,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and it's, I think it's something too that's kind of changed over the last year. I think the utilization on Main Street was less a year ago than it is now. I can't really tell you exactly why, but maybe the new, that Calico restaurant.
What about the former school up there, what was that, Maple?
Yeah, so when we did a trial run at getting people that were visiting the Cottage Street district to go to Maple, and I know Jeff, he was religiously driving by there and counting cars, and it was very underutilized. I think it's one of the challenges where people, if they can't see where they're going from where they're parking, they're significantly less likely to go and park there. So, I mean, like here to Cottage Street's a nice easy walk along the pond, and we have trouble getting people to use City Hall and not park in the neighborhoods, illegally park in the neighborhoods behind Cottage Street, so. It's a challenge, I guess.
One more question.
Yes.
Are there any plans to utilize the mural space for any sort of like public events? Or is it just gonna be a big empty space?
No, so Pasqualina, the city arts coordinator, is working with a group of artists that have been selected to actually paint those murals.
Okay.
I think in the back here, there's a schedule of when they're gonna start the mural painting. It's kind of tentative, but ground mural, artist mural, April 10th and 11th, like for the day. So,
No, I'm just curious, is there gonna be like a street fair or some sort of, is there going to be some sort of utilization of the space beyond using it as like an extended sidewalk?
the DPW, we don't have anything planned for that. I don't think planning's working on anything specific to that type of event. But that's why we wanted to have it out for the art walk night, so that there was an increased level of activity on Main Street for.
The ECA board, this is just a trial and maybe it's not gonna work at all. So ECA board has, and Public Art Committee, I think it's Subca, have been talking about that space and mural and with city space and art walk and, maybe pop-up restaurants or like a food truck or something you could have more. So there's, ideas circulating, and we won't actually have a shovel in the ground.
2028.
I'm saying 2027.
Okay, I like it.
But it's long, and as far as feedback or whatnot, there'll be several,
And then they'll be designed for the actual.
and then it'll come
redesign.
back,
Yeah.
right, and a whole new set of drawings, and, this is just the beginning.
All right.
Yeah, and we're getting this out, we're rolling this out as a trial before we're at 25% design plan, so that we can get that input and act accordingly, so.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you.
Alright, if there's no further discussion on that, we'll move on to director's report.
Try to get through this quick. So Union Street, I had a meeting with Ludlow Construction, Mass DOT last Friday. We're waiting on some analysis and acceptance of the regulated material that was removed, some of the subbase from the road. It's considered a regulated material because it had a content of a byproduct from burning coal over the years that's too high for it to just be reused. So Ludlow's waiting for some answers on where that can be disposed of within compliance. And once they have that, they'll start trucking that bad material out and then the new material in, which will really kind of green light the construction project for this season. So their plan is to start here in the intersection with Cottage and Williston and work up to Liberty Street for the first about 4 or 5 weeks of the construction season. They anticipate being able to be in and out of that section with the road base, the gravel road base in. The road will be gravel for a while, but I think it'll be better than what's out there right now. So we will be posting no parking on the west side of Railroad Street, which is the side opposite Tandem, to allow for as much traffic as possible to be pushed off of that section of Union Street and up Payson to Railroad and back to Union. It's a pretty short detour, but the more traffic we can keep off of Union Street while Ludlow's crews are working, the faster they can get the work done, the quicker we can get the road paved and kind of life back to normal for everybody on Union Street. Because it's going to be a challenging summer with as they move up the street, the amount of real estate we have to work with gets narrower, the area is more congested. The detour is going to be longer. We're going to be probably pushing a lot of traffic down Park Street to Payson. Still not a terrible detour, but it's going to be necessary to keep them working and get in and out of there as quick as they can. So there'll be times where we've got there'll be times where there's blacktop on one edge of the part of the road and not on the other, and it's going to be I don't think it'll be as tough as last year with the digging and the problems as far as myself and the DPW are concerned, but it'll be an inconvenient in construction waits. But the biggest thing is for people to just try to follow the detours, and as soon as I have a better idea of when they're actually going to get started, I'll get the message boards are out there. We just have to get them on in program once we have some start dates, and just try to ask people just to avoid the area. If you drive Union Street, start taking Park to Payson and kind of change your routine. It's a lot smoother. So that's basically where we're at with Ludlow. The Route 141 paving for this summer from East Green to the Holyoke line. We're still going back and forth a little with Mass DOT. I'm waiting for an answer from them as to where that will fall in the schedule. I guess we need to be careful about how we coordinate that with where we're working on Union Street and how hard it's going to be to get through the city at any given time. So I want to make sure we're working closely with them. We want to be very accommodating to them paving the remainder of Holyoke Street, but also mindful of how much disturbance we have going on Union Street at the time. So we had a retirement of note in the water department recently. Mike Zerwick, our water quality assurance coordinator, retired effective March 8th. Mike had been with us since the DPW since 1995, and he handled the majority of our Mass DP compliance sampling and our backflow device testing, cross-connection control programs. Pretty much, he did 95% of the compliance work that we have to do with the state. So it's left a pretty big gap in our just the operation management of the public water system. So Clayton over there is doing the best he can to keep everything moving. We've contracted with a company called Toomey Water Services to take over our backflow device testing and cross-connection control program. So, just having been in the water field as long as I have, I know that position will be a very challenging one to fill. So we do have some internal staff that we're trying to get some training to, and can maybe eventually move into the position. We do have it posted externally also, but we'll try to get that whoever ends up in that position more geared towards managing contracts and keeping the contractors, making sure the contractors are helping us stay in compliance so that they're not out testing backflow devices and trying to do all of our monthly sampling and everything that has to get done on the water side. So just want to thank Mike. I mean, nearly 29 years with the city, so I'm wishing the best in his retirement. So we have a number of positions open in the DPW. They're all posted on the city website. Currently working on bringing a student in through the cooperative learning program from Smith Vocational. I'm hoping he's going to start with us around the middle of April, depending on everything getting signed off by the school and his week of school and his week of being out to work. So I'll have him split his time with us between the water department and the highway department to get a little bit of a feel of what we do. So hoping we may be able to get him to stay with us through the summer, but he'll be with us at least through the end of the school year. So we're just kind of starting to do whatever we can to think outside the box and get people to come into the field. It's been challenging to get staff to get our hourly rates to compete with private companies or even larger cities and towns. So we're doing what we can, but like I said, there is a number of positions. There's highway, we have a motor equipment operator in highway, special heavy motor equipment operator in water quality assurance, craftsman in sewer. So quite a few openings. And the GoNetSpeed fiber optic project is work's going to get started on that again in mid-April. They've hired a new contractor for their build-out, broadband access services, which we're looking forward to working with them. They have some more experience working in the areas. They've been contractors for Spectrum and Comcast and such, so they're a little more familiar with working in town and working in Western Mass in general than the last contractor GoNetSpeed had hired. Their work will start out in the Plains area, Susan Drive, kind of where they left off last year, and then continue basically through the Plains for the first part of the construction season. One of the challenges we're having is that there's only, especially being short people in the water and sewer departments, we have to go and mark all of our utilities ahead of their construction work. And to be able to go out and get all of our infrastructure marked to then tell them they can go and work, it's really time consuming for our staff. So we're kind of holding them up a little bit in that we can only process so much. They gave me permits today. They gave me a pack of 5 permits, 5 routes, I should say. The first 2 were 10,000 feet of conduit. So out in the Plains, you got to think about how many houses and water and sewer connections fall within 10,000 feet of roadway, and it's a lot. So we'll do the best we can to kind of support that project, and look forward to a smoother construction season with GoNetSpeed with broadband access helping with their build out. So that's what I got for right now. So
Thank you.
Hope everybody got all that.
Any questions for Greg on anything he covered? All right, well, then to get on to our public hearing, I will make a motion to adjourn this evening's regular meeting. Yes.
Steve Litwin? And Leah Strode?
Yes.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.